of them, yes? Muse.
All right, who's who? mu1, mu2. Let's define them. Your guys' choice. As long as you define them and we're consistent in how we use them. Who's mu1 going to be? Or what is mu1 going to be? That's the core plus. Good. So he's going to be average score of a core plus mathematics student. Good. Which means by definition mu2 is done to be the average score of a traditional student. The average. Say that again, Frankie.
Nothing. I was putting it wrong. I was putting it down here.
We're defining the variables, so
Yeah.
you put it in step 2, exactly. And it doesn't matter how you define the variables, if you want to switch mu1 and mu2 and call them whatever else, just make sure your hypotheses reflect that. That's kind of the point. Make sure your hypotheses reflect that. So let's write those down next. So based on our little box plot analysis that we just did, what do we now think?
That mu1 is less than?
That's what it looks like based on our box plots, doesn't it? Yeah. It looks like maybe the average score for the Core Plus kids is going to be lower than the average score for the traditional kids. Now you got to remember, this is without technology. They're not allowed to use calculators, and a big part of Core Plus, as I read, was using technology. So it might be a little bit unfair to do this, but I wanted to look at it anyway to see, okay, even if they can't use technology, are they slaves to it? Right? If you take the technology away, can they no longer do it? Kind of like a guitar player that can't play an acoustic guitar, can only play an electric guitar full of lots of effects. Take the effects away, can they still play it around a campfire? Maybe, maybe not. So let's find out. The opposite, if you want to write it, greater than or equal to, maybe we're just wrong. Maybe our analysis is completely wrong. That would be the null hypothesis. Did I tell you guys about the discussion I had with the other non-244 grader about the equal sign up here? Did I tell you about that last time? I don't know if I did or not. Yeah. And that's okay. You can put just an equal sign. It's totally fine. It's just that that's the logical opposite. Let's talk about being wrong. Speaking of probability. Errors. Give me them. Please. Give me them. False positive, type 1, means?
Say that it is less than?
We say that it is less than. We say that the Core Plus kids are doing worse.
But they actually aren't.
But they're actually not doing worse. Good. Danielle has become the error identifier. So I want to pick on somebody else's time. Give me a type 2. Right, Core Plus, right. CPMS, Core Plus. Saying that Core Plus math students are doing worse when they're actually not doing worse. Good. I want to pick on somebody else besides Danielle. Although you're doing a great job, Danielle. Should I spread the love around a little bit? What would type 2 false negative be?
They're saying they're doing worse when they're actually doing better.
That's the type 1, saying they're doing worse when they're actually doing better.
Saying they're doing better when they're actually.
Can I like that. Can I say it a slightly different way? Saying they're not doing worse when they actually are. Ooh, and Jolene's going to be like, okay, Rule. It's far too early for this nonsense, this linguistic nonsense. I just want to make sure you have to say the opposite of what that's saying. That's saying they're doing worse. The opposite is saying they're not doing worse. That could mean they're doing the same. See, that's why I don't want to just say better. I don't want to go to the middle of the curve.
Right.
So saying that Core Plus students are not doing worse
Oh, are not.
when they actually are. When they actually are doing worse. They actually are doing worse. Is that fair? Maybe. Okay. Which one's worse? Which one of those is worse in your opinion? Type 2? Type 2? Types 2s? Type 1? Oh, I love it. Give me type 2. Tell me why type 2. Just out of curiosity. So type 2, remember, that's saying, that's missing the fact that this is actually going on, yes? This would be, this is true, but we missed it. So it's a false negative. So why is type 2 worse in your guys' opinion? And again, remember, you can't be wrong with these errors. Austin.
They could teach it.
Right, exactly. If all you're trying to see is if it's no worse than traditional, then you're going to put it into the curriculum, maybe. And then it's going to get taught, the kids actually are learning at a lesser rate, so you're actually inflicting damage on students. Good! Is that what you, a couple of nods thinking the same thing? Good! I got no problem with that. And with type 1, please, if you would. I called you Emily. Melanie. Emily's back there.
Because if you say they're doing worse
Yes.
when they're not, you'd potentially be missing out on funding and
Boom.
the fact that it's actually working.
Yes, if it actually is working, or in this case not working or whatever, you've lost a good research indication, right? A type 1 error can be that, because, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but funding is often tied to small p-values. If you get a small p-value, you often get funding to go find that result rather than going and finding to see if the result stands up to more scrutiny. Yeah,
I
yeah.
get it, but even if that's true, the kids won't be any worse off.
Because
Because they'll still stay the same.
okay, I got you, and I'm not trying to. This fight is good. I like that. I like that discussion. That's very, very good. And I totally see both sides of the
Yeah.
coin, and that's why it's important to have those discussions before you run the test, because then you can decide how confident you want to be in your results. And I say confident not in an English conversational way, but in a statistical, mathematical way. If you guys want to avoid type 2, lower confidence. That's the best way to avoid type 2. Mel, you would raise it, obviously, if you want to avoid a type 1. So good. Good. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, let's test it, shall we? We've got the data in, now it just becomes mechanical. At this point, it's just mechanical. It's just a matter of running the numbers and seeing if what we saw on the box plot, there we go.
Oh.
It's all good. That's why I taped it together so it wouldn't fall off. All right, to see if what we saw on the box plot actually will hold up to scrutiny, let me zoom the camera into the null curve. And I do want to focus on the mathematics of this curve